and Genesis Ramos, and that will complete the committee. Today's agenda is pretty short. We only have the sheriff's office with reports from both November and December. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll all please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you very much. Excellent flag presentation, Rob. So first up, we will have the sheriff's report, and that will be the corrections report from November. I see Captain Catletti is with us, sir. That want to present the highlights for us?
Yes.
Kevin, did you want me to do a roll call?
Good idea, Carrie Ann. How about a roll call?
DeGanga?
Here.
Ellers?
Here.
Fagione?
Here.
Tiara?
Here.
Sassy?
Here.
Ramos?
Here.
Hines?
Here.
All present.
All right, just a warning to everybody, if you're not speaking, please mute your microphone so that we can hear the presenter. Captain, the floor is yours for the November corrections report, please.
Thank you. The November corrections report has been previously submitted. There is nothing really of note in there. I will review the revenue for November. At the conclusion of November, our border revenue was $7,644,314.
Okay, thank you for that. I have a few questions. I noticed on page 14, you mentioned a HALT Act implementation. I don't know what that is.
The what? The HALT Act?
HALT Act implementation on page 14.
It's New York state legislation that takes effect the beginning of this year. It's in reference to inmates in confinement.
Okay, is that something new?
Yes, for this year. It sets very limited confinement times for inmates, especially pertaining to discipline. So we have to kind of revamp our disciplinary procedure to be in accordance with this new legislation.
All right, and you have a team working on that?
Yes.
All right, because I saw it in December's report as well. All right, my next question is found on page 2, state reportable incidents, and it said 5 physical injury to the hospital. Is that something abnormal, or was it COVID related, or what?
No, that's normal. I mean, we get inmates that sometimes fall. Just general hospital runs out to become state reportables once they're treated by a licensed physician.
And in that same category, it said released from custody. Why would that be state reportable? 1.
If somebody is admitted to the hospital that's in our custody, if they're released while they're still admitted to the hospital, we have to report that to the state.
All right. It just looked a little different to me. Anybody have any questions for the captain? Rob, the floor is yours.
Captain, just a quick question. I meant to ask this a couple months back and I didn't get to it. We've got, looks like some great inmate programs in there. Baking, behavioral therapy, cell study, coding, computer graphics. It doesn't seem to have quite a bit of, and then down below other programs, Joe's Road to Recovery. It doesn't look like we have a lot of activity in terms of those involved. Is there a reason why? Just disinterest by inmates?
Right now, it's COVID. BOCES is closed down for COVID. The only thing we're doing currently are any mandates through self-study. And for GED programs, we can't congregate the inmates, so they can't have their group programs and baking programs and Joe's Road to Recovery. So what we have is if an inmate wishes to speak to one of the counselors, our programs will set up an arrangement either over the phone or a type of Zoom thing for them individually if they feel they need to speak to somebody.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Sure.
Anybody else questions on the November report? And I'm not seeing any hands, so we will move on to December. You want to highlight the December corrections report for us, please, Captain?
Yes, our head count this morning was 390 inmates, 119 of which were ICE, 30 of which were marshals. And our revenue to date at the end of December, $8,413,585.
Okay, thank you. And thank God for the marshals, I guess, because I think we had budgeted 9 million, so we came in under budget, but it was still quite the save when we lost all the ICE, a lot of those ICE prisoners. So that was great. And can you just give us an update on COVID at the facility, please, with staff and mates?
Well, currently, as of today, we have 12 staff members out positive. We have 3 that are out pending results, 2 medical staff that are out. As far as inmates, we had, what do we have today? We had 17 positives and 7 persons of interest waiting test results.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions for the captain on the December report? I did notice one, I saw that the Special Operations Group was doing search warrants in Kingston. Is that an Orange County warrant, or are they helping out Ulster on that?
That'd probably have to be covered in the sheriff's report, but I believe there was a mutual aid thing with Kingston that they did.
All right, I'll ask the undersheriff when we get to him. Anybody else have any questions? All right, hearing none, we'll move on. I need a motion to discuss the sheriff's report, please. And I see Sassy and Stiganga. Undersheriff Jones, you want to highlight the November sheriff's report, please?
The November report is sort of average month, so I don't have any particular thing to point out, but I will answer the question. Well, that was a December where SOG was up in Ulster, right? So not November. I think you're muted.
You're right. Anybody have any questions on the November sheriff's report? Seeing no hands, we will move on to December then. Would you like to highlight December for us, please?
So the December is the end of the year, and so just bring your attention. It will give you a snapshot of the activity of the agency for the entire year. When you go through the December report and you look at all the year-to-date numbers, you can look at overtime numbers or training numbers. You'll see there's more than 15,000 hours of training. That averages well more than 100 hours per employee. That's one of the things accredited agencies do. It'll give you arrest information, and then on pistol permits, which is always something your constituents ask. You'll see that there was 2,480 applications this year, which is the highest year we've ever had. And in answer to the December question, we were requested by the New York State Police to assist them with a sweep in Ulster County. They specifically requested the Special Operations Group, and we assisted them with warrants related to their case in Ulster County. I think you're still muted.
I feel like Mike Paduch today. Anybody have any questions for the undersheriff with respect to the December report? Rob, floor is yours.
Okay. Yeah, good afternoon. Just an observation and a commendation. Operation Safe Child. I mean, it's just amazing how many things that the Sheriff's Department is involved in throughout the community, in all of our communities here. And if you look at the list on pages 11 and 12, it's very extensive. So I'm happy to see law enforcement out there and in the community and doing so many positive things. So thank you.
Thank you. That is a very popular program. People are already, starting to call in now for springtime and summer because we get double booked and triple booked, and some get turned down because the weekends are very, very popular.
Okay, and any other questions on the report itself for December? All right, I don't see any hands. So, Undersheriff, I know an issue was pointed out to me with respect to the K-9 building. Are you prepared to talk about that, or are you going to bring it to committee next month? What's the plan on that?
Well, we can talk about it today and maybe get some insight. There's an ongoing dispute as to who owns the building. Now, we've thought
this is a public meeting. Is Betsy, is he all right to talk about this when we're talking about disputes of ownership?
Likely not. I'm not familiar with the topic that the undersheriff is about to speak on. So perhaps maybe approach it with a little bit of caution.
All right, Kenny knows the rules. Go ahead, Kenny, but if you think you shouldn't, we'll avoid it.
Yeah, I don't think it's an executive matter. It's not a matter of ownership, it's a matter of which agency within the county owns it. It's not anything of that nature. So it's on airport property. There's an very old lease that predates me, and it's an airport property building that we rent, and we pay rent of about $18,000 a year to the airport. It is in need of repairs, significant repairs. And we asked the airport to look at it. They weren't sure about what the repairs were. We had Risk come in, do an analysis, and then we sent the matter over to law to determine. And in the meantime, we would not pay the rent. Like any other tenant that you're having a building that's kind of dilapidating in your presence. We didn't pay the rent on time, and so at the end of the year, Budget and Finance said, "Look, not paying the rent will put at risk federal funding," and so they transferred it. And we understand that, so we are understandable and outraged at the same time. Is that if it's our building, then we will put in our budget money for upkeep of the building, and we'll do the upkeep. Generally, DPW owns all the buildings, but not that one. And so it's like no one owns it. And all we needed is repaired. And the dispute's going on for about a year now. And it just makes no sense. So I think we all have to come to a mind as who's ultimately responsible for the upkeep of the K-9 building. It gets used a lot. We do regional training for virtually every PD that has a dog, with some rare exceptions. And so the building has to, stay up to snuff. And the floor, we're talking about floor joists here. So it's becoming dangerous. And at what point are we forced to stop using it? And so I don't think it's a dispute that should have gone this far, frankly. Like someone just has to decide who's responsible for the care and upkeep of the building. We don't currently have anything in our budget to address that. If it's our building, we're going to come back to you and say, look, this was overlooked in the budget, that, there is no money currently appropriated to have the upcare of this building, and it needs to be upkeep. So, ultimately, I think it's a legislative issue.
All right, I think the county exec could fix it pretty quick just by saying that DPW go over and fix it. I didn't realize it was county owned that's why I was hesitating initially to have you present it. So to me, it seems like physical service should take a look at this as well, because it seems like maybe, I know the safety people, and I have that report. I don't know, Carrie Ann, if you haven't sent it to everybody on the committee, please do that. The report from the county safety officer, just laying out the issues. And hopefully, I think next month, if you bring it to physical services and public safety, we might be able to get to the bottom of it, have Commissioner Denega send some of his people out and determine what needs to be done. It really doesn't matter whether it's in the budget of the airport or in the budget of the sheriff, in my mind, although it might be for federal reimbursement purposes, as you mentioned. So I think the executive side needs to get involved in that. Legislator Stiganga, go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to check, Kenny, you kept saying our building. So like the building is actually owned by Orange County. We're just not sure which area of the county is responsible for it. Would that be correct?
Right. Everyone says they don't have any money in their budget to fix that building.
Okay, but if you were paying
Airport
rent
doesn't have it, and DPW doesn't have it.
if the sheriff's office was paying rent into the airport specifically for that building, wouldn't that money then go into the upkeep and repairs for that building?
Well, I try not to use sense and logic with government.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about that. Okay, thank you.
All right. It sounds like something we'll be able to work out with the county exec and the DPW department. Anybody have any questions for the undersheriff with respect to the sheriff's office or with this matter? All right. Seeing none, then I think a motion to adjourn is in order. have Mr. Sassy. Do I have a second? Mrs. Stiganga, and we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great afternoon.